This activity is called either mystery questions or questions on my back, depending on how you want to use it. And this is how I model it for the students. I show them you're going to have a question and you're not going to know what it is. Either because you flip it up and show it to the people at your group if you're playing mystery questions, or because this is taped to your back if you're playing the activity Got My Back. Then you have to go around and talk with people in your group. So maybe the first person says 15, and the second says 16, another says 16, and then your teacher says 38. So you must use an inferencing skill to take the answers to the question to back form this question, which is why it's called a mystery question. And in this case, you're going to say, how old are you? And you're saying, like, I'm using this information from the other students compared to what my teacher says and forming the question, how old are you? Another example we do is chicken, salad. Someone says, it depends on the day, and someone else says, whatever my mom makes. So you're using this information to say, what could this question be? Now, we talk about how there's no way in the world this could be a where question or a who question, right? This has to be a what question because every answer is a logical response to a what question, right? So then they would have to inference, okay, using this, it's talking about food, so what do you like to eat maybe, or what do you eat for lunch? These are logical questions to form this. Now, if they get close, then their classmates or the teacher can guide them and say you're on the right track, and then maybe give them a little bit more information. But the important part is to try to backform this question first. So how do I set it up? I make these 6 questions on a slide, and I like to try to make them in batches of how easy or hard they might be to guess. And then I'll mark them prior to handing them out to the students to make sure that I'm differentiating for how adept the students are at language. Another thing you can do if you're seeing your students having a very tough time backforming the questions is you can just post these questions as your students come in, and they can talk about them in small groups for maybe 3 or 4 minutes per slide. So they're at least familiar with the questions before they have to do the inferencing game. Now, I think it's more fun when students are taking these questions that are cut on the cardstock and taping them to their back. But if it's a behavior issue, it's definitely a more manageable situation to have them draw from a pile and just hold it up to their group. So these activities are called either mystery questions or who's got my back.